Oh, welcome back, everybody. This is the show we now call the Inworld Review. It's the 10th of February, 1930. No, it's not. It's 2030. That was told I have to do the date. And I have to do the date. And guess what? It is 2013. Where have I been all my life? I have to ask myself. Anyway, I'm Mal Burns, and I'm joined by some great guests here today for a bit of open-ended discussion and a bit of news and everything else. First of all, of course, I'm joined as ever by Saffia Widdershins, who sort of co-hosts this with me. Welcome, Saffia.
Hello, thank you, Mal. Good to be back.
Indeed, good to have you back too, I must say. And we have three illustrious guests in the studio with us tonight, joining in the conversation, and both all with things to say for themselves too. Firstly, we have JJ Sifanwi, if I've got my pronunciation right. I'm never quite sure. JJ, of course, is
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes, University of Western Australia's presence in Second Life and various other things. He's also involved with LEA, and of course, we've got a big competition to tell you about a bit later. But for now, welcome, JJ.
Thanks, Mel. Great to be here again with you guys.
Now, we also have a chap called Victor Mornington. And I've been puzzling over how to introduce Victor. I am told he is the assistant
Maceholder.
The assistant maceholder of New Babbage. He's also a Time Lord, or maybe, or may not be. He's also an acclaimed DJ with eclectic musical tastes and, well, generally speaking, all that and many other things, I'm sure. So welcome, Victor.
Thanks, Mal. Hello, everyone.
And finally, but last but not least, is a wonderful welcome back to the Another Day, Another Destination blogger, Honor McMillan. Welcome, Honor.
Thank you, Mel. It's good to be back.
So I know before we start, there's lots to talk about this week, but I thought we'd probably better get going with the wonderful clip that we showed earlier on at the beginning of the Week in Review program, the main program this is part of. And it's all about 1 billion rising. Now, we've talked about this in previous weeks, of course, but the video basically is, as far as I can tell, set to the same soundtrack as the promo for the main organic event, shall we say. But our camera woman here, Pet Love Pet Shop, has done a wonderful job of editing and filming in masses of locations. And she's the first to say, well, it wasn't me, it was all of us, which I'm sure is very much the case. But as the person who put the whole thing together, as we saw at the beginning of the show, it's pretty great stuff, very impressive indeed. So congrats to Pet Love on that. But maybe I should throw it over to you now, Saffia.
Yes, this time last week, I was looking at my TP history when I was coming over here, because usually I just hit my TP history to get back to the stage here each week. And I was looking back over the last 6 days, and I was thinking, my goodness, this time last week, I was running around the grid looking for locations to film this thing. And we are now, it's just incredible that we are now sitting and looking at this very accomplished video that Pet has created, and it's stunning to think we got that all done in a week, that we collected the dancers, we collected volunteers, we went out and we filmed, and then we spent 2 long nights editing it in there with Pet, wielding the scissors brilliantly to brilliant effect, and then we put it out today, and it's, what we've turned around in a week. I'm just so impressed by. I know there's like the 48-hour machinimas where people are expected to make machinimas in 48 hours, but I think a week to do something like this has been amazing. It is based on the one that you've seen and heard. We wanted to do a dance that was similar, but that was especially Second Life. And to do that, we actually tried to pick out locations that were particularly showed the variety, the diversity of Second Life. So we had a clip in Shekhawati, the India sim. We had another in Kowloon. We had one in London Mayfair. We had a New York one. And then we had some country ones using Calais Galadon. We had an art one. We went to LEA 15 where Gracie Kendall has an installation, and we danced in the installation there. And then we had a completely off-the-wall fantasy sequence. We wanted to show that Second Life, although you can dance as humans in Second Life, you can also dance in a variety of forms. So we actually deliberately went and got mermaids, petites, tinies, and dragons. We actually have a sequence where some dragons fly past, and it was such fun. It was the people who did it were so lovely and so enthusiastic. They kept turning up, hanging around, waiting for the moment when they would dance, standing there in the cold, sometimes in the wet, in the dark, or probably very inadequately clad for the climate, but then they danced, and it was fantastic. Honor, I'm sure, can confirm all this.
It was. I was exhausted dancing in a variety of the locations, but I have to point out again, and we've said this already, and we'll say it over and over and over again. The reason the video exists is partly because we had all these volunteers who were willing to participate and dance their little toes off, partly because the Dazzler dance troupe and its leaders sat down for hours and pulled together dance animations that would work. You'll see that it's one long dance. It isn't one dance that's repeated 16 times. But mostly we have it because Safi and Petlove didn't sleep for 48 hours. They not only went and filmed and directed and pushed and prodded and herded we did 3 days of shooting for 3 days, but they then spent the next 48 hours up editing, yelling at each other and saying, no, that one, there, okay, go. And that's why we have this video, which is just magical. It's absolutely magical.
Yeah, I mean, it's so impressive. I see Lepeskian is in our channel chat, and he's described Pet as the queen of calm. I like that.
Oh, God, she is. She is so wonderful. It can get quite fractious, and especially when you're very tired and you're trying to go for things. But Pet has such amazing patience. And, even today, when we discovered a mistake that we had made, and we had to ask Pet to do something again. And she was like, really calm about it.
Exactly.
I don't know about. I believe there's something again happened 3 times. In fact, it's quite funny. Yeah. We've been counting the hits on that video since it officially went up earlier today, and of course, an earlier version has leaked out there too. So there's double figures on this hit. There's a load of hits from the original, and now there's a new load of hits from the real thing. So. Yeah, third time lucky as usual, but it's a wonderful, wonderful job. So my apologies if there was a bit of sound problem earlier too. Of course, I started the show having completely forgot to put my headphones in, so apparently my voice was feeding back all over the place.
Dear.
Typical amateur affair on my part there. Anyway,
yes. Well, I should say that the video is just kind of a part of what we are doing this week, because on Thursday we are going to have the full 24-hour event from midnight to midnight SLT, and we have got 4 sims. The stage is virtually built now by Victor Mornington, sitting opposite me here.
If he'd keep his hands off it and stop messing around with it, we could consider it complete. But since he's always got to tweak one more thing.
Yeah, we're giving him corners to decorate now to try and take his mind off the stage.
And now I've got another credit to add to that list at the beginning. Stage build.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes. And corner builder now.
That's right.
Yes, Victor. Yes. Why don't you go and look at this corner? It needs filling. So yes, that's being built ready for Thursday. And Thursday, it's going to be a 24-hour event. We've got 4 Sims. The 4 Sims have been sponsored by some wonderful people that you can read about on the blog. I have to say, when we had the idea that we wanted to do this and we would need 4 Sims, basically I put my hand up and said, hey, I need sponsors for this. And I got the sponsors within 2 days, which was amazing. We've since added some sponsors in kind. People have been wonderful. Robert Galland of Galland Homes, who's a sponsor, who's also an attorney in real life, has been advising on some of the information stuff that we'll be putting out. Lilith Hart, bless her and Dolly, has basically said that we can just drive the Pantechnicons up to the door of the garden centre and take whatever we want to decorate the Sims. And so many people have been so kind in doing things and creating things for us. We've got 24 hours of music. Performers and DJs will be playing for 24 hours so people can dance. And we've got artists. Now, Honor can tell you more about the artists than I can. So
yeah, we have 18 art installations around the edges of the 4 Sims. And I haven't got the full count of artists involved because some of them are collaborations, but up to about 24 artists, which is what we were looking for. We have art from people you know, such as Brino, Gracie Kendall, artists you may not be as familiar with, such as Daco Monday and Giovanna Cerise, although you should be. We have art involving sound with Lauren Tone. We have Havit Neox. We have Gracie Kendall. We have a large double installation by Melo Minotaur and Capcat Brigu. We have some gorgeous stuff. And part of what we're going to do this week, because, you know, everything's going to happen within a very short space of time, the poor artists, they all went, how much time? So we're going to have an open house on Wednesday, the day before the official event. Up from about midnight to about 1 p.m. You'll be able to come to the Sims and look around at the art and interact. There's some really remarkable stuff. Walk around what Victor is calling a stage. I would tell you it's a stadium. It's a stadium without seats in it. We're talking about a stage which is 200 meters on a side. And so it's a very large thing. But the reason it's so large, again, we have 4 Sims. The reason it's so large is that we're going to have, it's divided into 4. We'll have up to 50 avatars per Sim. So we could have 200 people at a time dancing to our amazing performers. And we're going to have, we're going to publish the list of who's going to be there. By Tuesday, you will see a complete schedule and a complete list of the artists with some descriptions of their music, etc. I will give you one hint, though. I will tell you that our finale at 11 p.m. SL time, because our event is running on Second Life time from midnight to midnight. Yeah. Our finale will be the incomparable Noma Falta.
Oh, yes.
Which is just a great way to end a 24-hour period. And we might wake up, you know, because we're not sleeping for the entire event. We plan to be there for every minute. Yeah. I will also
I think the performances will probably need to increase in tempo as the hours go by, just to keep everybody awake, you know. Have the sleepy stuff near the beginning, right. You know, gradually.
I'll tell you one other thing. Yes. Go ahead, Sam.
I was going to say one person who people may not have heard DJing, but who is an absolutely wonderful DJ and one of the Steamland's best secrets, and that's Elric. Yes. And he's going to be DJing for an hour. I mean, he is awesome, isn't he, Victor? You've heard him.
He is. I've heard Elric DJ a couple of times, and yeah, he is good. He is definitely good.
Victor's going to be DJing for us. But the other thing we should tell you, particularly since we're on Mal's show, is that we are going to be live streaming the full 24 hours. And it will be done through Mal's channel. And
on this very channel.
That's right. And he will be one of the team of brilliant camera people who will be capturing everything as it happens in spite of crashes. And so if you can't get Inworld, join us anyway. You'll be able to see what's going on.
But we'd really like you to come and join us Inworld if you can.
Yes, indeed. I think everybody's duty is to pop in for a short while at least. They can always watch the rest of it on the stream. And yes, should be great. I'm not going to vouch for my own abilities as a cameraman. I used to be reasonably good at it, but bandwidth and interruptions and things started getting in the way. So this will be one of the first times I've tried the camera myself for a while. We'll have to hope. But we have plenty of people. Well, we don't have plenty, but we have a good team of people offering to do stints on camera. And,
however, if there are any more camera people out there who can live stream and who would like to get involved, I'd like to say now that we would love to hear from them.
Yes, if they get in touch with, I guess, Pet Love Pet Shop Inworld is probably the best at this point. It is really a matter of knowing how to sit with a camera, and maybe it's a bit boring. You're just going to be filming direct to live stream. You're not going to be making machinima, but it's a very well thing if anybody's interested. So yeah, please do get in touch. The more the merrier, as with any party, really. So all that will be happening on Valentine's Day, Thursday. Is there any coincidence in the fact that this is happening on Valentine's Day, Saffia?
It's quite deliberate. This is called V-Day, and I think you could say that it lays stress on the way that when there's Valentine's Day going on, there's also at the same time all this violence towards women that goes on, which is sort of hidden out in plain sight often. When the whole Jimmy Savile thing broke out, a lot of people said that he'd been hiding in plain sight. A lot of violence against women goes on in plain sight. If you think of India and the Eve teasing, that was seen as kind of normal until that case on the Delhi bus was a real wake-up call as to what the darker side of this sort of thing. So it's, in a way, has been picked because it's a kind of significant relationship day, I think, but it asks us to look again at relationships. It asks us to look again at our assumptions. And would you agree, Anna? Would you agree?
Yeah. Absolutely. It's in part, it's Eve Ensler is the author of the Vagina Monologues, that play you may or may not have heard of. And she started V-Day 15 years ago. This will be its 15th anniversary. Although 1 Billion Rising was born last September. And part of it is her idea of, yes, everything's sugar and candy on Valentine's Day, but let's look at loving women in a different perspective, like treating them with respect. And so that's really the reason it's on Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Good. Well,
we have an awesome stage, and we must let Victor tell you a bit about that stage, and also about this white rabbit that's bouncing around the stage.
Okay, well, yes, why not? Let's turn to Victor. Good idea. Tell us about the white rabbit first. I think we're most curious.
The white rabbit is the only part of my avatar that was left since 2007. I usually change my avatar every year. I just buy everything new shape, new skin, new everything. But the rabbit just stayed there, and then all of a sudden people started getting used to the rabbit. And then when I took the rabbit off in New Babbage, and I said, "Look at my new skin," everyone kept asking, "Okay, where's the rabbit? I want to see the rabbit." So yeah, Thumper, he's like permanently attached to me now. I can't get rid of him.
That should be a nickname, Thumper.
There you go.
I was actually put onto some wonderful avatar. No, they were not avatars. Sorry, I've forgotten who makes them. I was literally there the other day, and I forget whether I got it or favoured it, a dog, but there's lots of alien ones too. And you literally wear them like shoulder pads, but they actually walk beside you, and they're made of mesh, and they
yep.
Manticore they're called. And there's a series of, it's about a dozen or something like that, ranging from a dog to strange sort of demons, like in the mythical narrative where people are accompanied by demons. And they literally follow the avatar movements of the avatar. So, it's not like somebody just is on the ground beside you and follows you around. It actually mimics your own AO kind of thing. And they're really rather odd to look at. You've got a double person hanging around. I'm now being told that my lips aren't working, and I was criticised earlier because they were. I don't know what to do. Maybe off is on and on is off. I'm going to try toggling, but it won't matter on the television channel because that's a separate feed. Though I did hear it was rather faint, unfortunately, but we're doing what we can about that at the mixer end. Yes, anyway, Manticore. Yeah, they're great little things. I'm probably going to get the dog if I didn't already got it, because the idea of an animated dog following me around would be quite fun, especially when I'm wearing a cat avatar, which is smaller than a dog. Anyway, I digress. Back to Victor. So we now know the story of Thumper. Yeah, it was good to. You don't want to throw away a pet, do you? You've got to keep your pets.
Well,
even if you do change
your
clothes.
I can't put my away now because if I do, I get lynched. So. But anyway,
the stage, yes,
and it is a stage.
The thing, as Honor has been calling it.
When Saffia contacted me, I think it was the back end of last month. Saffia, you contacted me, and I thought, Saffia wants me to DJ or something, and then Saffia said, we need a stage built, and I was in my head, I was thinking, it must be, a single sim for Print Perfect or something, and then I get dragged into a meeting, and it was a stage that would cover 4 corners and would be about 200 meters along one side. After the nervous breakdown, I agreed. But the stage itself, because Saffia wanted something not fully steampunk, as everyone who's heard of New Babbage recognises the name as steampunk. You've got Steelhead as well, you've got New Babbage, you've got parts of Caledon, which is steampunk. But New Babbage is primarily gritty industrial steampunk, and the stage itself, and if you visit certain blogs like the 1 Billion Rising and Honour's blog, you can see a snapshot. The stage is a very, very large cylinder that's cut into 4 pizza slices. So that basically negates the lag, because I was working with a lot of mega prims. And if you have one mega prim with everyone dancing on it, it will end up crashing the sim, as everyone knows. So, and plus, if one of the sims crashed, and it happened to be the sim the mega prim was routed to, the other 3 sims, the stage would vanish. So the stage is cut into 4 sections. It's a massive, I think it's about 140 meter diameter outside ring. It's suspended above the ground because below the stage is water for mermaids to dance in as well. We've thought of everyone. Well, Saffia thought of everyone. I just built it and just kept nodding my head, which is what you do, really. And the whole thing's suspended up off the ground. If you've seen the Millennium Dome in London, seen pictures of it, you'll recognise some of the design of the suspension struts at the top. There's 4 massive cantilevers at the edge that basically hold the thing up, and it's sort of a little nod to overstated Victorian over-engineering. That's what I like to think about as that stage. Over-engineered.
Right,
yes.
So you've just delivered the perfect excuse for all the criticism you was being fired at you earlier. I like that. Over-engineered Victorianism. Fair enough. Carry on.
But the stage is there as in the very centre of the stage. The centre circle is where the DJ platform is, and there's DJ stands on each of the 4 sims. So whatever, if a sim the DJ is on starts to go down, the DJ can teleport out, and there's a perfect copy of the same DJ stage on the other four corners. There's TIS dance balls on all four sims as well. That's still being tweaked right now, but it'll be ready by the time the event opens up. And yeah, it's big.
I presume you'll be keeping the people on the stage sim to a minimum to help with filming and broadcasting.
Oh, here we go.
You?
No, the
dear.
stage. Here we go. All right.
Oh,
Val, we
Oh.
have 4 sims. We have 4 sims.
Yeah.
The stage is on all 4 sims, and it's going to stay there.
okay. I'm with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Very firm about
No
this.
comment. You know, the thing that always gets me really weird these days is sim idling, because I know when I'm filming and things like that, you know, there'll be 4 sims together, and you know, if all the people are on one, and one of them happens to be empty, it just disappears. It goes idle at Linden.
Yes,
Labs.
I know.
Suddenly you put your camera in there, and hang on, where is he?
I know. But
You know,
lately we haven't had that problem, and I don't think we're going to have that problem at this event. That we'll have
No, we won't.
nobody on it. I don't
No,
think.
I don't think that's it. It's funny here where we're broadcasting from, the Meta Hub, as I call it, in Chilbo. For some, I get a radar. It's been rezzed here somewhere, and it sends me email when I'm offline, showing me who's here, you know, at this particular location. And I'm forever thankful to, there seem to be 2 avatars now, but there's one in particular, Alma, somebody who obviously logs in and stands on the pavement that you can see just beside us here, or where you would if you were here, and is there endlessly. So this region never goes idle anymore, because whoever it is has kindly set it as their home and just hangs around there all day, keeping it up. So my thanks to Alma, whoever your second name is. I don't think she's here at the moment, but it's one of those nice little things that you think, oh, isn't that nice? Somebody keeping my sim.
I'd like to interrupt here with a hat tip. I think we owe a hat tip and a gesture of thanks to somebody. We're looking for chocolates, but when we got our 4 sims, and I mean, amazing. They came early. It's brilliant. It's wonderful. One of them was in severe need of counseling. They obviously had some major psychiatric issues, and it was one of the flakiest sims I've ever had to deal with. And I opened a support ticket, and I said, you know, I had this image of us being in the middle of the event and this thing throwing fits all over the place. And a lovely gentleman named Boris Linden came to visit and moved it to a new server, which has so far seems to have completely fixed all our problems. And I just wanted to thank him publicly for that service.
Absolutely. We don't often get the chance to thank a Linden for anything.
Yeah.
So Boris Linden.
Boris Linden.
Shout
Good
out
for
to
you.
Boris Linden. Thank you.
Yes.
Hopefully he'll be there and joining in the festivities. More Lindens than merrier too, for that matter. I've just been monitoring our chat over in live stream, by the way, and Lapiskian again has offered to relay the live stream, I guess via ABTV that would be. So that'll be another place you'll be able to see it. Same channel, of course, but scattered all over the place. So
okay, Lap, if you send me that information, I'll put it up on the blog.
Yeah, and anybody who wants to embed the stream, let us know. You're welcome to do so. The more, the merrier, as it were. Okay, well, I think we're going to be coming back to this event as we go. But I think I'd like to bring in. There's 2 other things I have on my mind today. One is this week has been the LEA Arts Festival, of course, and there is a blog. I think it's relatively new called SL Art Exposed, which has been sort of doing a daily peek not particularly long blogs, but just a nice daily peek of different events that have been happening over the week. And later in the week in review show, after this program is over, we do actually have various clips from that, in fact, that we've spoken about. Well, we'll get to them when we get to them. But the person I'd like to bring in now, we were hoping he was going to join us last week, but he's just here this week. And that is Jegathesan, who is from the University of Western Australia. Now, regular viewers of this channel will know that every so often there are big competitions held by the University of Western Australia, a machinima competition and a 3D art competition. All on a particular theme. The theme of the latest one, which JJ, I'm sure, tells about in a minute, is reflection. And these are very big events. I'm very honoured to be one of the judges on the first for the machinima competition. I seem to remember that the last one, I'd meant taking about 16 hours to download them all and then watch them all back to back, so that I got a flavour of what were the best and what weren't. There was a huge take up for these competitions, so I thought it'd be good. And JJ, of course, is somewhat involved with the LEA too. So I think we'll bring you in, JJ. Maybe you'd like to start off by telling us all about the new competitions and whatever else is happening with UWA.
Yeah, thank you, Mel. It's very exciting to be here again. With all of you, and I am grateful to yourself and Dausa and Saffia as well, who has been a judge at the art challenges and film challenges over the years. This year the theme is reflections, and the theme was selected by Professor Ted Snell, who is the director of the Cultural Precinct at UWA. The theme is in recognition of the centenary of the University of Western Australia. We had a centenary art challenge last year as well, and but with an open theme. This year we have a themed challenge, reflections, to differentiate the two. And the reason why we have centenary art and film challenges for 2 consecutive years is 2012 was the centenary of the first staff being hired at UWA, and this year is the centenary of the first students studying at UWA. And in fact, we had an absolutely incredible show in real life 2 days ago, whereby these amazing things which look almost Second Life like were projected onto the main building at the university in real life from 8 p.m. to midnight, with a crowd of 10,000 people coming. And there was a nod to Second Life as well as part of the show, where the most incredible photos and images were projected onto the building, where the building itself was a screen. And I'm not sure where I could share some photos on it. I have a link where I could share a photo or two. But yeah, they were absolutely mind-blowing. And so, okay, I mean, like, moving on with the challenge, the art challenge has already kicked off, and the information for the art channel, for the art challenge is on the UWA blog, www.uwainsl.blogspot.com. And that has a 580,000 Linden prize pool. We have a number of sponsors for this. Open This End, our sponsor, Pieces of Choice Gallery, Vertlantis, the Best of Second Life Group, the Guided Tour Company, and the Cultural Precinct at UWA, along with Student Services. So for this challenge, artists are invited to send in an artwork of 150 prims, of up to 150 prims, and these go on display immediately. It launched on the 1st of Feb and it closes on the 29th of May or 30th of May. I think 4 or 5 artworks have been sent in already and are up on display, which is great. The earlier the artworks come in, the more time the machinima artists have to plan for how they may include one or two of the artworks, because the Machinima Challenge launches on the first of March. For that one, the prize pool, sponsors are still coming in. The prize pool is already at about 800,000 linden right now for it. And yeah, and I mean, like, there's a company linked to the 48-hour film challenges, real life company in Sydney, who have already put in $1,000 in prizes, and may triple that. So it could rise to 1 million linden for Machinima alone. So with that, the theme is reflections. Again, the theme, it's however anyone wants to interpret reflections. However, there will be a special prize for a machinima that features one of the artworks sent in, in the best light. While you're not, like there's no rule that you have to film the artwork sent in for the art challenge. If any machinima does film one or some or a few of the artwork sent in for the art, there is a special prize, being awarded for that as well. So that's a little bit of a nutshell about both challenges. We have a great lineup of judges from all, from all over the place, from universities, a number of people who are sitting with me here today, and all kinds of things. I had a question I see being thrown up. Someone's asking me whether the machinima needs to be new. Well, if it's an adaptation of something older, that's fine. But there will be a number of spaces which have to be shown, for a few seconds. I mean, like the theme, with the theme reflections, we're giving a choice of 3 locations that have to be shown within the machinima, at least for a few seconds. One of them being the reflection pond, and the other 2 being spaces of reflection in UWA. One of them, the Sunken Gardens or the Somerville Theatres. So you can choose any one of those 3 spaces to have for a few seconds as part of the machinima. But yeah, that's one of the things I'm having to do, because it's a tip of the cap to my own bosses at UWA. All right.
Well, I'd hope so too. I think the general consensus will be it would be nice to have something new, wouldn't it? And to I mean, that theme is a very wide berth, so it'd be nice to see people working on it rather than just putting together old material and just slipping in the obligatory shot. But my experience, with these previous competitions is you get so much variety. You get narrative story, you get music videos, you get landscape and arty kind of things. So the different creators do interpret it, a wide variety of ways, which actually makes the judging very difficult because, it's you can't be specific about the genre. It's very hard when a solely creative piece of imagery is going up against a high-powered story, because they don't have that much in common, but they're.
Yeah, I mean, like that. That's right. That's one of the beauty of the whole things. For me as well, the diversity is one of the most important things, and the other is, the diversity of areas. All the people are coming from all around the world, which is absolutely amazing. And as you said, Mal, it's so hard to judge, and that's the reason why I have a pool of there's a pool of 25 judges, and the reason for that is so no one judge has a huge influence on anything. I found personally, if there's a 3 or 4 person panel, if there's one judge who is extremely vocal, sometimes their kind of views get taken into account far more than the others. But this way, every single judge is given the exact same amount of responsibility, so to speak, and it's a straight tabulation of every judge's top 10 lists, and that's what you get. So there's no manipulation, or there's no individual interpretation of what it is, or no one can argue very strongly for one person, or for one work of art that have to be included. And so the judging as well is very personal, and there aren't any arguments sitting around the table trying to decide who gets the 100,000 or 150,000 Linden first prize.
Indeed. Well, the message here basically is for all of you out there who fancy yourself as budding machinima makers, or indeed are machinima makers, more to the point, get going on the theme of reflections and come up with something to submit to JJ.
Yeah, even if you feel you're a beginner, right? Many people have told me they feel that they're beginners and they can't, and their work isn't up to scratch. But very often these people are the ones who had the most amazing artworks and machinima sent in. So
yeah,
if you're feeling so don't feel intimidated, or don't feel that your work isn't good enough. Just
you never know.
Yeah.
You never know till you try. I mean, I monitor not only subscriptions but posts on YouTube and Vimeo, throughout the week, and I will quite often see, the subtitle of something in the feed is saying, "This is my first machinima," sort of. But I thought I'd put it up, and you go and look at it and think, "Wow." I don't believe you. That's not your first machinima. Often it will turn out that way. Somebody's got a talent for that thing, and first machinima or not, it turns out to be something really special. So keep the faith, so to speak. Saffia, Honor, anybody got any questions to JJ on this that we haven't covered?
How many submissions do you get, JJ?
Well, for the art. We had 100. We had 100 last year, but that time it was open, so we didn't have a theme. So I mean, I'd be happy with half of that this time with the theme of reflections, and bearing that in mind that we have a theme and people have to make something specific. We increased the prims to 150 from 100 prims max. So with the machinima challenges, we've had about 50 or 60 machinima in the past, when we had a themed one. When we had one focusing specifically on art, where we asked people to film only the artworks, we had something like 70 or 80 machinima in. But again, I'd be happy with 50.
Wow.
I think
very impressive.
It is.
I think the more this prize pool goes up, the more you're likely to get more entries too. I mean, that is just the figures there. We've been quoting Linden's, but that is serious American dollars or whatever currency you use too. It's very large amounts involved there. Definitely an incentive for people to jump in with it, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing how sponsors have come in as well. I'd like to kind of go on a sponsor campaign type thing, but I can never bring myself to push hard for sponsorship. I don't feel right, pressing for it. But I've been amazed at people coming up and saying that they'd love to be part of it, and almost pinch myself, to believe that, I mean, in the first of the film challenges, in fact, started with no UWA sponsorship at all. The first UWA film challenge started when somebody donated 10,000 Linden to me and said, "You have to run a machinima challenge," and it started with 10,000 Linden. And I didn't know I didn't know that running a machinima challenge with 10,000 Linden as a prize it was insulting, because I wasn't involved in machinima at the time, and it was, oh my God, my memory now fails me completely as to who it was. It was a person who got me started in machinima, who used to run the burn. Yeah, he used to run Burn too.
Dusty
Not
Linden
Dusty,
or
before
Dangerous
Dusty,
Ranger
White Libed.
or
Yeah, that's
oh,
right.
White
It
Leadbed.
was White
yeah,
Libed,
White
White
Leadbed,
Libed.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, moving on a bit, I know, JJ, that you're also nowadays involved with the LEA to a slight extent, aren't you? And of course, Honor here is too. Have either of you been at the events this week, which basically well, what have they been?
Yeah,
For
there've
the
been some
festival?
amazing events,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, like I'll let. I've spoken so much. I'll let
No,
Honor,
go.
Okay.
speak. I mean, I'll keep quiet for a while, and then I'll
Okay.
let Honor
You
take
have
the
to
floor.
remember, JJ, that I've been a teensy bit busy this week. There's this event coming on Thursday. So poor Linden Endowment for the Arts, who said, gee, Honor, would you come and help out? And I said, sure, after the 14th. Really, after the 14th. So I haven't been able to get to the festival. But if JJ will talk to you about the festival, I'll talk to you about grants.
All right, sure. We've had, like an amazing festival ongoing on the LEA Sims. Like Bryn O, who's listening now, knows, a lot about them as well, and I know she's listening, and she might be correcting me if I'm making any mistakes. But
it's
I mean, like,
quiet
it's
so
really
far.
there's a whole bunch of people, amazing people involved on the committee. I mean, like, outside of the committee, it's kind of hard to imagine what goes on, but there's I mean, like, these people put in an incredible amount of work and sacrifice a lot of their own time to for the benefit of others, much like you do, Saffia and Mel, as well. So I mean, like, Brino, Patricia Ann, Daviao, Zach Kale, Rowan Derrith, and all of the Solo Mornington, all of them have done a lot of work to redo the landing points, to give more information to people landing on the LEA Sims, in the LEA Sandbox and the LEA Festival. Landing points have been put on the Linden Labs TP location, so even when newbies come, they teleported there. So a lot of work has been put over the last 2 weeks into almost giving a help to new residents in Second Life as to how to get around. A lot of artists are being interviewed last week and next week as well, about their LEA about the LEA work as part of the festival, and you should be able to go on the LEA blog to find information out. I'll try to call up the LEA blog now, and I'll give you the link. I mean, like, if I put the link down, will people be able to get it?
Yeah, if you put the link down in World Chat or the live stream chat, depending on where you are, we'll read those out, I think. Okay, Cara Trapdoor's in the audience here, actually. Great to see you, Cara. And she's put in lindenarts.blogspot.com, and you can go /p/festival HTML if you want to direct.
That's the festival
Fantastic.
calendar,
Thank you,
which is a very valuable page. The festival calendar, that's the one that's there. If you just go to lindenarts.blogspot.com, you'll be able to find a link to the calendar as well if you can't remember the back end.
Great. Okay, so that's where to go for that. Yeah, it does sound like it's been some great. I've just literally got one of those SLRs Exposed blogs this morning, featuring a Skydance 5 by Dan Coyote, which sounds like something that I'd like to have seen. But there's a lot of. It's not just exhibitions; it's performance and interviews, a whole range of things happening there. So well worth looking out for. And some of the shows are continuous. The Skydance one, for example, runs every Wednesday until 27th of March. So the calendar is the place to go. You can definitely follow up stuff
I
there.
am so keen to see the Sky Dancers. I mean, everything in my life has been put on hold till after the 14th of February. But one of the things that I am definitely doing in the second half of the month is going to see the Sky Dancers, because they are just so awesome.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd add to that is if you've never been, you really have to go to the LEA Sims. But if you've never been, open the map, type LEA, and hit enter, and you'll see a list of a whole bunch of Sims. Just go to one of them. When you land, you'll find a HUD available for you, and it's a tour bus, and you wear it. And to me, the LEA Sims are a lot like a wall full of candy for a kid, because I never know which one I want to go to today or what I'm missing or all of those good things. But the tour bus will take you through all 20 Sims if you let it, and you'll get a chance to see an amazing amount of work and some just glorious, glorious installations. In addition, the calendar will show you when the machinima events are on, when the interviews are on, when there's performances going on. It's a fabulous festival, and nobody should miss it.
Great. Now, Anna, you have some information too on this about the grants, isn't it?
Yes, and I mentioned this 2 weeks ago. We were talking about the artists who are exhibited on the Sims, and it's one of my favorite places on the grid, because I know I'm going to find something that's interesting. And I also said that, yes, I spend every day when I'm blogging going to a different place or looking for different artists around the grid, and I always feel guilty because I know there are people out there working away and nobody sees what they're doing. And what I worry about is them giving up because they don't know how to share it with other people or how to make sure people find them. So, ladies and gentlemen who are listening, okay, pretend that I have my hands on your shoulders and I'm shaking you. The current round of grants applications for a 5-month artist in residency on the Linden Endowment for the Arts Sims. You get a sim for 5 months to play with, to exhibit something, to show what you can do, to have your dreams realized right there on that sim. But in order to get one, you have to apply. Okay? And as JJ was talking about his competition where you might not think you're good enough, do it anyway. I'm telling you to fill out an application and submit it. You have until February 19th. It's not a scary application. They only ask questions to help you solidify your ideas so that you can articulate them. They aren't scary people. The process isn't horrendously difficult, but if you don't apply, you won't win a grant. And as long as new people aren't applying, then everybody's going to complain that the same people get Sims over and over and over again. So get in there. I want to see what you do. Google Linden Endowment for the Arts, go to the blog, and find the AIRS application post, and it'll link you to the application. You have until February 19th. And I want you to apply. And if you don't, I'll come find you and smack you on the back of your head.
God, that'd be a tough job in Second Life, but never mind.
That's fantastic.
Hold you to that one.
There you go. I'm stubborn. I'll do it. I encourage anybody who wants a chance to show what they can do to submit an application, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's a great gift to be given a sim for those 5 months. I mean, when I think about it, that's it costs about $1,300-$400, over those for 5 months. So it is a fantastic opportunity, and so do please have a look at the link. I put down it's the first post on the LEA blog right now. And I'm putting it down in local chat here. It's lindenarts.blogspot.com or .com.au. You both get to the same place, and it's the first news story there. One other thing I would like to do is to give a shout out for the for the current month of the LEA Full Sim Art Series.
Yes.
And for the month of February, this was the final round of the kind of second year of the full sim art series, and that's Nexuno Thespian, and he has an amazing, he has an amazing sim ongoing. If you just look at the photograph on the link, you'll see he's doing Dr. Moreau's SeaWorld, and it was built based on the island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells, and a number of people who've been there have I think it was Kwan Lavender on her blog who said that it was like walking into a painting, being in that in that environment. So please do go have a look. It will be on till the last day, till midnight SLT, the last day of this month. Next to No Thespians, Dr. Moreau, SeaWorld.
Yep.
Great. I think we may even have a clip later in the main show coming up of Naxo's piece, but I'll find that when the time comes. Right. Well, that's absolutely great. Moving on briefly. Back to Saffia, are you familiar with book stacks?
Is that Simeon Beresford's thing?
Well, I'm not. The contact name I've got is Kagaya.
Oh, Kagaya Gahadi. Yes, they're a partnership. Really, they work together.
I'm glad somebody can pronounce it. Yeah, they just. I did get sent a list of their February events of book stacks, basically, and I'm also on the lookout for literary sort of things as well. And seems like they've got quite a lot going on, science fiction Saturdays and stuff.
They're very, very good. They're very good people. It's worth getting on. If you want to find out literary events, there are two ways I would suggest going. One is to contact the Alexandrian Library. I've just been sent a note card from them about a talk this afternoon about Girl Genius, the very popular gas lamp fantasy webcomic that people absolutely adore, and they're having a discussion about those this afternoon. Alexandrian Library are always doing interesting things. The other huge resource on literary events in the in Second Life is, of course, a person, and that's Crap. Crap Mariner has encyclopedic knowledge of the literary events that are going on in Second Life.
Even if they are more than 100 words.
That's right.
They are more than 100 words, yeah. His exhibit at last year's SL9B was just awesome. He collected together so many literary events that were going on, both associated with SL9B or just happening.
It's interesting. I'm afraid I can't remember. I know of two of them. I can't remember the links just offhand. But there's at least two Sims I visited in Second Life, which literally are like libraries. You walk in and they've got Inworld ebooks that you can literally pick up the shelf, often for free, and just take them into the inventory and read them. So, they're promoting the idea of reading, through Second Life. And of course, they've got displays with all the book covers so you know what you're getting. A bit like an Amazon catalogue in 3D, really, isn't it?
That's right. Most of the Steamlands actually have libraries. Victor could probably tell you about the Babbage one. We actually filmed in the Babbage Library for our Christmas show. In fact, we filmed in 3 bookish locations because there's an interesting story behind that. This year, there was an auction in Babbage. They always have an auction of people who, will volunteer to do something for you or whatever.
And get your minds out of the gutter.
Yeah, very respectable things, because this is, of course, the Steamlands, and various things go up for auction. It's a big thing for Relay for Life. And this year, I put up Mr. Biggins from, the famous Mr. Biggins. I put him up for auction. And they said, I said that, if you bought Mr. Biggins, you would not get a night out with him or anything like that, but you would get a part in a Babbage episode of Designing Worlds, and you could be in it, and you could also choose what the locations would be, and I would write the story around that. And Mr. Biggins went for a very, very high price, actually. I was very impressed. Surpassed by only one other person in the auction, who just happens to be sitting here in this room. Victor got a huge sum of money because there was a bidding war.
Yeah, bidding war. But there was a bidding war between the Doctor Who crowd who were trying to set me up because they always do.
It must be your voice.
And it was
your voice.
It is his voice.
It was the voice. It was a bidding war between the Doctor Who crowd and Mr. Tenk, who is the clockwinder and owner of all the new Babbage Sims. Thankfully for me, Mr. Tenk won.
The prize was to get Victor to read a story of your choosing. So they were bidding for Victor's voice, really.
Wow, I just guessed.
Yeah, you were right.
It's the voice. Yes, I'd like to point out as well that there's a sim in Second Life. There may be more than one, but I'll tell you about one that puts on art exhibits based on literature. So all of the art that is displayed, some is inspired by and represents literary works, and that's Impara Facile. So if you ever get a chance, go visit Impara Facile, and you'll find literary references in the art, or actually realizations of what you thought you saw in the literature.
That sounds awesome. I must go and see that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Anna's always telling me about fantastic places that I never have time to visit.
I know, trying to get her to these places is, when we were putting together the video and I did an initial, here's some Sims that you might want to include as locations. In the back of my mind, I picked Sims that I've been trying to get her to go visit so that even if she didn't pick them for the video, at least she finally went to see them. Yes. Yeah.
I have the same problem, because I go through all these links all day long and, I'm making notes of this, that and the other, but finding time in World to go and see them, or finding something to go with to make it more fun, sort of.
Yeah, that's why I have to make Mal a judge so he's forced to go and see.
And that's why I prefer the machinima, because I can just lie down and watch it. So actually, this segues quite nicely into a quick little plug I'll give myself, or rather I'll give Doozer at NBC. We're at 2 p.m. Second Life time every Friday at Metaverse Island. We have a session called Bedtime Stories we just started about 4 weeks ago, I think. And I usually read from one of my World Tales anthologies, so it's sort of random. But other people have been doing things like reading, interpreting tarot cards and things. Not the tarot reading, but giving the history and the meanings of tarot cards and things. So it's not all fiction. But the idea is you come along and, it could be a song even, or it could be read something that you want to read that you like, or it could be read something of your own and, just a mishmash of stuff. So if anybody fancies doing that, 10 o'clock on a Friday night, hop over to Metaverse Island and follow the green dots, as it were. And you'll probably end up in the Bedtime Stories place. Anyway, enough of that. Enough plug. But yes, I'm very keen to see fiction in World, and there's actually been quite a lot of sort of fiction interpretation in performance in Second Life of late too. Not a huge amount of it, but we've begun to see in World performances of things like famous plays and Les Miserables, for example, we had recently, and various things. So it's all another side to the virtual world, is representing classic fiction and similar things. Well, talking about literature, there's a piece of literature I come across now and again called Primperfect. And indeed, there's a new There is somebody has forgotten to mention this, but there's a new edition, the February edition, which is actually all romantic. It's gone romantic,
Yes,
despite the
of
fact that
course.
what we were saying about Valentine's Day and 1 billion earlier. It is indeed available now on a newsstand near you, is it not, Saffia?
Absolutely. It came out yesterday, and it contains various articles on romance and some gorgeous pictures, and articles on where to visit and where to be romantic and all that. It's also, as our first edition of the new year, it's got 3 great new series, which people are finding quite exciting, I think. There's a focus on small businesses. Quite often, small businesses are the most vulnerable because people start them up and maybe they make a go of them and they get big, but maybe they just carry on being small for some reason or another, and they can get overlooked. So what we're doing is we're having a focus on small businesses. And to start off, we looked at 3 of the people who've been on our Pathfinder program and found out how they've been doing since we mentored them for a year to find out, to help them develop their businesses and see how they're getting on. And they're all doing very well. We're very pleased. The second new series, and it's quite an exciting one for people who can't build like me, over the course of a year, we're going to teach you how to build your home from scratch. And this month, there's tools and instructions how to build a basic skybox and how to texture it. So you can start knowing absolutely nothing, and with this month, you'll build a basic skybox, and then later we'll do things like adding second stories, adding gardens, adding windows, doors, teleports, all the sort of things that turn a box into a home. And that's a series that will run for a whole year. And the last new one, and again, it's another very exciting one. It's a guide to making mesh. And Beck Janus is a very good writer for us. And what she has done is she's produced a kind of 101 guide to mesh, what it is, how it works. And she's going to work through the year exploring how you actually build in mesh and how you texture mesh so that people can learn how to make their own mesh objects with minimal, hopefully, stress and expenditure. And I think that's going to be a huge bonus for everyone. And those are 3 big articles.
Okay, great. We've got Cara Trapdoor in the audience in Inworld here. I mentioned earlier, so hi Cara. But coincidentally, as my reference on the next piece, I've also got her blog open. It's a blog called what's the title? Cara's Corner: Second Life Adventures. Because her post reminded me that we have yet another new Mad Pea hunt going on. And this one is called Love Potion Number 9. Which I think it's an old soul track, that isn't it? Isn't there a song called Love Potion Number 9? Yeah,
yes.
One of those deep voiced males probably singing it. It sounds very familiar. I think I like it. Looks very interesting. I tend to go, and Tara does, in fact, on almost all the Mad Pea sort of hunts. But the first picture in this one, strange enough, is a library. See, it all ties together here. But no, this certainly looks to be a good hunt. Have either of you been on it? Anybody here been on that one yet?
No, but I'll tell you, we covered it on Happy Hunting. We had an interview with one of the people behind the hunt. So if you want to find out more about it, go to Treat TV and have a look at the last episode of Happy Hunting, because that's got lots of information about the hunt and the background to the hunt. So that's quite exciting. Actually, I'm not sure. Hang on. I'm not sure if it's actually up on Treat yet, but it's on the Happy Hunting channel on YouTube anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely on. If you search for Happy Hunting on YouTube, you'll definitely find it, because I've already downloaded it from there. So I do know that one's
watch
there.
it to help you with the hunt.
Yeah, I tend to go running for help halfway through the hunt when they become too difficult.
Oh, I'm getting some weird noises from you now.
Yeah, JJ's mic was coming up with a few noises there actually, but yeah.
They have weird bugs in Australia, you know. They have very strange bugs, and they're all killers, and so we may have lost them forever.
We have very ominous bugs in Skype these days too. It's called Microsoft, I think.
If we're talking about TV programs, I was just going to tell you about the episode of Designing Worlds that's coming up tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Because this is a really interesting one, and it's a sim called Arcachon Atlantique, and it's a francophone sim. The owners are French, although one of them now lives in New Zealand. They have this beautiful sim that is based on the Gironde, Languedoc area of France on the coast. So they've got the Cap Ferrat Lighthouse. They've got the largest sand dune in the world, which is also a feature down. They've got a touch of Les Landes. All a very beautiful and possibly less well-known part of France, the southwest corner, the Gascon corner. And they have this lovely sim. They've been doing a lot of work with language teaching, and I know you had a clip about language teaching earlier. And they've been developing intense, immersive language courses. And certainly we have a teacher on the program, an English school teacher, who's found it incredibly useful to take her students there during lessons and actually explore the sim and do little role plays based in the sim, like visiting the shops or going to the beach or visiting the farmhouse or observing the wine making or the oyster harvesting. All of this is there in the sim, and you can talk about it. And they have hunts, they have trips around it by balloon, by boat. You can fish, you can do all sorts of things. I mean, it's the most incredibly interactive, wonderful experience, beautifully built. And they have run out of money. You know, they have to keep, all of this is there, and it's very difficult to keep it going just on donations, which they've been trying to do as they build up the courses. So they're in a hideous dilemma, and it did look as though it was going to actually have to close. They've been able to stave this off for a couple of months, but really they need to find a way of financing it in the medium term at least, until they can get the courses up and running, because they're planning on these courses to learn French that are at a very reasonable rate, but it would keep the sim going. And so we went to make this video for Designing Worlds about them, and gosh, I really would love to see them succeed and stay, because it's such a lovely place and it's such a good project.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's it's a shame when we're going, you know, we go to our pardon my coughing, sim death watches, as they seem to call them every now and again. But you know, equally there are new ones coming all the while, and it's the same with business. It's certainly you know, it's bad news when maybe one of the bigger ones disappears, but you know, keeping an eye on small businesses, I think, is, you know, for everybody that goes, there's always a couple coming in to replace them. And you know, I think it's like destinations and things. After a while, everybody gets to know of the ones people have raved about, all the big ones, or the things that are in official Linden guides, and they go there, possibly to neglect of new things coming up, which obviously people like us try and keep, you know, appraised of, so to speak. But there are always these sort of little things that don't know how to publicize themselves that you just stumble across. And, be it a business or be it an exhibit of entertainment, whatever, is, we really need to keep our eyes open for new up-and-coming things and try and help them, sort of maximize their impact so they do stay, and make a success of it. So
Absolutely.
I'd really agree with that.
But it's very difficult. I mean, we talk glibly about publicizing things in Second Life, but it's incredibly hard to find the way. I mean, I would say that this Arcachon, in terms of the content of the sim, have done everything right. They've ticked all the boxes. They have regular hunts. Maybe they're struggling to get publicity out into the English-speaking world because of, as I've said, it's Francophone, and they don't speak English very well. Well, one of them, the main Simona, doesn't speak English very well. Although her, let's not sound patronising here. Her English is a damn sight better than my French. But and you wonder, how are people to get the message across about places like this and things like this? It really is difficult. You plug it on Facebook, on Twitter, on Plurk. You write a blog, you try and get people to come to the blog by putting in elements that are sticky, like I do with my blog, having a jigsaw quite often on Prim Perfect, and people come back into the jigsaws again and again, and they hopefully read the other stuff too, and you can always people can always hone in when you do a train wreck post. It seems people have an awfully good nose for train wreck posts. But, what is the secret? What is the secret of building that kind of publicity? It's very difficult in Second Life.
It is. It's almost as though we need, like in the real world or the organic world, so to speak, it is Facebooks and Twitters that to a great extent start conveying things and making things viral these days. But within the microcosm that is the virtual world, we don't actually have that. We have... you've got the Linden Lab event listings, you've got their own destination guide, you've got groups in World that can obviously send out group messages often, but sometimes it feels like spam, because there's so much of it. There's no really good system in the microcosm of the metaverse, as it were, for looking up things, happening in these platforms as opposed to happening elsewhere. And, it's a shame. Maybe somebody will...
That breaks the barrier for me.
Sorry, say that again, JJ.
Yeah. It's been Machinima that has managed to break the real life, Second Life barrier for me. I think Machinima is the key because it can reach all those other platforms a lot more easily than getting people to TP into a virtual world who aren't familiar with it.
Yeah, and certainly what we try to do on the other program that surrounds this program that we can review, for example, is, there are just so many clips coming up to YouTube and places in the week that demonstrate things going on and celebrate them. And, we just try to choose the best, but, you can't fit everybody in. You just basically editorially hoping you can sort of give an idea of the variety and persuade people to follow up, clip with a visit or whatever. Still, well, I have two. One thing I was going to do this week was actually get around to reading them out. There are two blogs in particular that seem to be coming up every week this week. One is the address is The Torch SL Guide, so that's The Torch SL Guide, all one word, .com, who usually on Monday seem to be publishing a blog called Things to Do in Second Life, week of, well, the last one was February the 3rd, and I imagine there'll be one tomorrow. I've got last week's open at the moment, for example, and it's telling me all the hunts that are still going on. Well, not all of them, but a selection. And obviously it's one of these blogs that attempts to sort of round up, editorially speaking, things that the editors there find interesting that are happening in the week, be it concerts, exhibitions, hunts, Even puzzles and games. The winter safety game we mentioned the other week, for example, is still on. And the other one, which seems to get published on Tuesdays, is Events This Week. And you'll find this at Weekly Events SL. That's Weekly Events SL. So there's two S's near the end there. Again, it's all one word. blogspot.co.uk. And this comes out usually pretty early on Tuesday and features a wealth of events, and it's illustrated too for the whole week. And again, it's a variety. Some of it be concerts, some of it be speed builds. I'm just glancing here at, all sorts of stuff. So if any of you are getting fed up with the traditional avenues of looking up events on the Mammoth Linden events blog or anything like that, I'd actually recommend these two blogs as early week starters, as it were, for hints as to where to go. There's no extensive editorial on these blogs. They're simply like listings, but well worth looking up, I think, if you're having trouble finding anything to do in Second Life, which is pretty remarkable if you do.
Trust me, I don't.
Okay, well, all the little things that are on my list here are stuff to discuss. I think we've sort of covered them all. So what I'd like to do while we're here is just pop round each of you in turn to see if you've got any other thoughts for the week, anything else you'd like to say. Let's start with Victor. You've been quite quiet since your
picking me.
Yes. What are you going to be doing this week? Well, maybe we better say after Thursday.
What I'm going to be doing after Thursday. Yeah, what I'm going to be doing after Thursday is doing it all over again, because for the people that don't know, Relay for Life is the team registrations have already opened, of course. The kick-off is on March the 9th. Everyone recognises the name Charlene Trudeau, who was the lead build on committee. I'm the lead build for the RFL committee this year. I'm basically taking her place. So once February the 14th ends, and the 1 Billion Rising, a fantastic event, I hope you all attend it, the fantastic event ends, on February the 15th I do it all over again, and I have to build another stage for the kick-off party on March the 9th. So for me it's kind of non-stop. It's really kind of non-stop. On top of that as well, for all the Doctor Who fans out there, yay, Doctor Who, Zenobia Time Station's been rebuilt on the Doctor Who Expo Sim in Utopia. So if you're a Doctor Who fan and you want to reminisce,
Is this an all mesh rebuild? Is that the one I was hearing?
No, it's not. The inside's mesh. The outside, the station itself covers the entire region, so it was virtually impossible to do it in mesh. The inside's mostly mesh, though. But if you do want to reminisce about those old, loud Colin Baker days of Doctor Who, and reminisce about the trial of a Time Lord, and then reminisce about Colin Baker being sacked, then you can pop over to Zenobia Station. But for build stuff, I'm going to be busy. Once 1 Billion Rising ends, for me, the Relay for Life season kicks off. So by the time July.
I have some memories of Tom Baker in real life, who used to frequent a pub I used to frequent in Old Compton Street in London. And believe me, he was just as boisterous in real life as a Doctor Who series.
Yeah,
quite a character, man. That guy. Great character, that guy. Sorry, I had to intervene with that little reminisce. So next time you're on this show, I'll be introducing you as stage builder extraordinaire, because clearly...
that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be doing the stage for March the 9th, and of course the 42 Sim Relay for Life track that'll come under me as well. So it's going to be this summer's going to be fun for me.
Yeah, and of course by July all of us here really are going to be building up for the telethon. So that is the major event of the year after the I think it is after the birthday, one or the other.
It is. It's after the birthday.
Yeah, the key events, as it were. Mm-hmm. And sometime in the meantime, there might be the old DJ show as well, no doubt.
Oh yeah,
Victor?
definitely.
He goes silent on that one. Can't possibly fit it in. Okay, let's move on to Honor. Honor, what's again? It's going to be after Thursday.
It's going to be after Thursday. Well, let me start before Thursday. The event, of course, and all these events are built with volunteers. So if somebody out there has said, "Gee, I wish I was involved," get in touch with me Inworld because I could still use you. I will. Well, now, although you won't believe me, if you volunteer on an event on one of my teams, I don't let go of you. So just be prepared that there will probably be other things coming up, such as two things. First, Linden Endowment for the Arts, which I really am, gang, going to focus on after I return the Sims on the 15th and get some sleep. We are going to have a volunteer team, a team of volunteers on the Lindens on LEA. So if you're interested in that, get in touch with me because that'll be fun. And in March, which is not very far away, we're going to start planning the 10th birthday celebration. SL10B is coming, and we're going to start planning for that. Victor, have I mentioned that to you yet? I don't think I have.
I took it for granted. I took it for granted that I will be involved in SL10. So
good.
Yeah, I'll be there.
See, they learn very quickly. Once we have them in our grasp, we don't let go. So if anybody's interested in volunteering and getting involved in events in Second Life, because that's my passion, community events, please get in touch with me because I'll be able to use you and abuse you in all sorts of different ways. That's what I know.
What a promise.
Some would, yeah, exactly. Some would say, that's an invitation.
But we have a lot of fun. We do have a lot of fun.
Yeah, the virtual collar and chain, but it's an exciting walk. Eh? Something like that. Oh dear. Okay, JJ, anything exciting you apart from obviously the concerts and all the stuff happening at Western Australia? Anything exciting you on the horizon at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, like, no, thanks for handing me the mic again. I must say that my house, like Victor, you're speaking of Doctor Who, my house is absolutely filled with all kinds of Doctor Who stuff because my kids love Doctor Who, and they even have photos of Doctor Who on their Facebook pages and all that type of thing. Well, no, that's my son shouting in protest. But my other son, yeah, but like the one who just shouted goes and borrows all the videos and DVDs he can find. Yeah, so it was interesting listening to you speaking about Doctor Who, and I must find out more about you about that. One thing yeah, that's right.
We'll have to take you to the Hands of Omega, where they sell all the TARDISes. You can get
all the TARDISes.
Yes.
That's right. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what a TARDIS is, but my kids do. So, like I talk about it all the time. If you ask me to define TARDIS now, I won't be sure, but they can tell you about the stairway and all that type of thing. I have no idea what that is. So, I mean, anyway, the thing that I must say is that none of what's happening in UWA would be there if not for the work of Freewheeling, who's the curator of arts at UWA. She puts in an enormous amount of work to make everything look beautiful because I'm not an artist and not a curator proper, and so if I did everything myself, it would be shambolic. And so, thank you, Freewheeling, for all the amazing work you've done over the years. And it's been an exciting couple of days for me in RL2. I'll quickly get it out. My son just won the gold medal for the 200-meter individual medley yesterday. Yay, that's
well
right. So I was at the pool the last 2 days, and my other son, who started playing Scrabble with me, so I played in the Scrabble competition again for the first time in 2 years, and he won a prize in the intermediate section for the best word. So both my sons won something yesterday. So
that's
I'll just put that in there.
Oh, that's great. That's great. It's funny, just as we're talking here, no, well, it happens all the while. No sooner you're doing a show or something live, and all the IMs start flooding in. But I see the Mama Machinima group has already got 2 posts about 1 billion rising. One's from Lapiskian and one is from Secret. What is it? Secret somebody? No, Langcare Writer. Anyway, they are posting the link to the YouTube video too. So there's a lot of members of that group, so that will be getting around, no doubt. Okay,
That's
well,
excellent.
all that remains is me for 20 users, Saffia. Any closing thoughts, reminders, things you haven't brought up yet?
I would like to remind you of the immediate week and what's going to happen in the lead up until Thursday. So Tuesday, Tuesday from 12 noon till midnight, the sim is going to be open to bloggers, people who contact me and want access so they can go and explore it. Will be given access and they'll be given information so they can go and take a look around and explore things before it actually opens on Wednesday. It'll be open till about 1 o'clock on Wednesday. I think, is that right, Anna?
Yes.
So people will be able to come back in and explore it. Everyone will be able to come in. Then they'll be able to come in and see the art. They'll have time to look around the art. Then we'll close the Sims 1 o'clock on Wednesday for load testing and security tests so that everything is going to be spanky, shiny, clean. We're actually not going to open at midnight exactly. We're going to open ahead of midnight, probably at 11 p.m. That's so that we don't get, one of the things that really hurts events is that you open the sim and it's the start of the event and everyone just goes woomph and tries to get in. But what we're going to say to people is they have got an hour. So, spread it out. Pop in at 15:15, 20:20, 22, 1:45, and you'll be in there and you'll be all ready for when the event starts. So we're going to try and make the opening a slightly gentler affair. There won't be any music. You'll just be there waiting. But, it'll give you a chance to get in and get settled down, try out the dance balls, even though you can't hear anything.
Very good idea. Very good idea, I think. Because I think when these big events tend to start crashing and stuff, I mean, obviously a lot of it has to do with sim load, but I think a lot of it probably has to do with the fact everybody arrives at last minute at once. So it's a shock that Linden Electronics can't cope with, really. Yeah. So that certainly seems to be a very sensible idea, really.
But I'll remind you that Boris Linden is trying everything he can to make sure our sims are good.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
We love Boris.
Wonderful. Yes. Hands up to Boris again.
Boris.
Okay, that's the catchphrase for the week. We have Boris.
That's right.
What could possibly go wrong?
I don't think we want to add that. No, we don't want to add the Babbage curse.
Don't jinx us.
No,
don't jinx us.
I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist that one. Yes, indeed. Yeah, we got Boris. It's going to go right.
Yep.
All right on the night. Okay. Well, I think we can call it a wrap for this week. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thanks, Victor.
Thanks for having me, Mal.
Thanks, Honor.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thanks, JJ.
I think he's already slipped away.
He's already snuck away. Okay. And, of course, thanks to you, Saffia. And we'll see you with more exciting stuff next week, won't we? If you recover.
Yes.
You recover. You get 3 days to recover before this, at least. So.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you, everybody who's been watching, including quite a few people who've actually been in the audience in Inworld this week, which is it's nice to see. We're not really set up for it, but it's nice that you're here, so that's absolutely great. You'll be able to catch replays of this show on YouTube, and it's also included as part of the Metaverse Week in Review replay at live stream, so all over the place, really. And if you catch it and want to embed it anywhere, feel free to do so. We love it. We love spreading the word around, don't we all? Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to busy sort of morph myself back into my organic self to appear on webcam at Weekend Reviews sort of closing sequence. So it's time to say goodbye from here. Join us next week. If you are watching live, then I will tell you there's a few clips coming up while we do the transition. The first one I think will be of interest to almost everybody here because it's called the Van Gogh Village. It's a place in Second Life where various paintings of the artist Van Gogh have been sort of turned into 3D, and a whole village of different builds, basically, which are 3D interpretations of Van Gogh. And great stuff, I think. So we're going to look at that first. Then we got a bit of the fish, which is, of course, LEA, and an old Floofy Destinations. We sadly lost Floofy. As a character now, of course, for copyright reasons, but he still looks at destinations now and again. And we got it's a few weeks old, but it's a look at Seeker, that black and white sort of cartoony type build, and that's going to be followed by a movie with the unlikely title of Socialist Pig. but it's a fun clip. You will see what I mean. So anyway, we're going to carry on with that stuff live. And if you're leaving us now in World, we hope to see you again next week. So bye for now. He says, having temporarily, if we just stay quiet for a minute, he's temporarily lost his thingy. Right, press the button. Cue the clip.